Okay, I want to talk about the word esoteric because some people kind of throw it around, um, and I think we need to start being more careful with our words. If you're in the, I don't even know what to call this. Okay, used to be conspiracy theorist, but all of your conspiracies have come true, so you're stuck in the learning that everything that you were taught was a lie phase. Okay, we need to find a good word for that. You see, esoteric is a word that it's basically meaning, the way I'm understanding it. If you're a linguist, pop in here and let me know. But the way I'm understanding it is somebody decides whether or not some knowledge is for the general public. Okay? So if that's the case, how do you know the type of people that decide whether something's good or bad for somebody else is yeah, yeah, they're either a parent of a child, or or they think they've got control over people that they shouldn't have. So esoteric can mean anything. Now, I've had people throw around the esoteric word with occult type things and say, like I was teaching esoteric stuff, whatever. I've been called a witch. I've been called, so as long as you call me for dinner, I don't care. But, the word itself is actually, it's not that esoteric knowledge is occult. That's not the case at all. It's esoteric knowledge has been deemed by someone to be unfit for someone else. Okay? So, we don't even do that with our children. There is some knowledge that our children just aren't developmentally ready for, right? Um, and there's the same thing can be for elderly parents and stuff. There can be some knowledge that they are no longer ready for, right? So, I mean, that's a little different thing because you're talking about their emotional and physical safety, right? Whenever you decide to withhold parts of information from a child, I try to answer my children's questions with as much honesty as possible. I probably lean on the side of TMI, mom. But I tried to use like little stories and use the animals as examples, okay? Because you can teach a lot of delicate education by watching the animals. Sorry, I'm getting shaky. So whenever we're talking about esoteric knowledge, we're not talking about something that, ooh, that came up with some blue light. We're not talking about knowledge that somebody might not, well, I mean, we could be. If they're talking about, unveiling UFOs and the public isn't ready for that. Well, they've been having the public ready for that since TV, television. So I mean, you can kind of go through and decide what you think is kind of esoteric and what's not. And the CIA has always been deciding what knowledge the American people can have and what knowledge they can't. There's other agencies. There are just agencies that make that decision of what is classified, what is good for supposedly, you know, secure national security and all those kinds of things. So that can be esoteric knowledge. Not that some of that can't be occult. If you've been in this for very long and you've learned very much yet, then yeah, some of it can be occultish. So, excuse me. So, there is that whole thing. But people just kind of thrown that word around, and just because something is considered esoteric, it's just been considered not good enough for, or too good for you to know, right? Or too deep for you to figure out or understand, or too, I don't know. Usually it's got to do with money. Whenever you dig deep enough, usually it has to do with money. It's esoteric because it is knowledge that would impede someone's bringing in of wealth. So when we're talking about esoteric knowledge regarding like frequencies, God created the world with frequency. Okay? So there is nothing about frequency that is occult except the way people use it. And if you turn on the radio today, because of the way they changed the radio frequencies back in whenever they changed it, then, it's pretty much a cult when you turn it on, even if you're listening to Christian radio, okay? Because it's out of frequency. Not that, I mean, some of it is very worshipful in one way or another, but the music that we've been listening to all of our lives, as far as like radio and tape CDs, stuff like that, is off in the frequency. It's not in a frequency that is harmonious with our bodies. So singing and acoustic, going to a live performance is going to be much better, especially if it is, like non-electric stuff, because I don't know how they, do my husband's the DJ, so I'd have to ask him how they do, the frequencies that come out of the mixers and all of that kind of stuff. But if you are listening to, acoustic instruments, then that is much better. Wind chimes around the house, that's a good frequency. Things like that. The enemy is always trying to twist things. So he takes God's creation and he twists it. He doesn't make anything new. They don't make anything new of their own. The enemy does not. They take what God did, and God spoke the world into existence. He used frequency. He uses frequency on a regular basis. The way the Bible, Hebrew is, it's a living word. When you are speaking the word of God, you are tapping into his frequency, a healthy frequency. So, that's why the frequency of those windows and those cathedrals and stuff is so healing, and so, you feel good whenever you walk into those places. So, anyway, good frequency. Crystals, most crystals. I'm a little leery of Lemurian crystals, but, and if you want to know why, ask me and I'll make another video. But having crystals around is a good thing, good natural crystals. Wind chimes, copper, doing as much natural things the way God created them in the first place is the best frequency that you can have. So anyway, so esoteric knowledge about frequencies is just knowledge that somebody has deemed you shouldn't know. That's all that means. So anyway, just wanted to make that clear because I've been sharing stuff on frequencies because I think it's important that we get into God's natural created frequencies. So I'm trying to learn more and sharing that knowledge with others. And so I thought I would just kind of clarify a little bit here and hopefully help.